The latest iteration of Google Web Analytics platform GA4 is now available, with deeper insights, exciting features, granular data tracking, and so much more. But is it really worth for brands to explore this upgrade? Let's find out. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to speak to Sujata, our manager analytics, and Pankaj, our analytics capability expert at Merkle. And we're glad to have you both on this conversation. And yeah, let's crack open the new GA4, right? It'd be great if you can give us some overview and how is it different from the previous GA4 properties that existed. So yeah, tell us a little bit about it.
Hey, hi, Prashali. Uh, all right.
Hi.
So I'll start with a bit of an history about like how Google Analytics started and all, and like eventually we'll come down to Google Analytics 4. So Google Analytics, so it all started back in 1995 when Google was not formed. Google like started in 98. So there was a company called Archin, and they were mainly a web development company. Somewhere in 1997 or so, they figured out that we need to also analyze the website behavior of the different users. Behavior
Okay.
at that time, it was very primitive, like how many users are actually visiting your website. So Archin came into picture in 97. They wrote the first draft. In 1999, they added more features to it. And this Archin company, so this was acquired by Google in 2005. uh, Google continued to use the same version of Archin, the JavaScript file, which was archin.js. And in marketing, I mean, like a lot of us are still using UTM parameters that you might have heard. UTM source, UTM medium, and UTM campaign, the parameters which are still prevalent in today's tracking. So actually, the full form of UTM is Archin Tracking Module. The name Archin comes from the earlier company. So Google acquired it in 2005. Of course, I mean, the moment Google acquires any company, they make it like Google. In 2006, again, in 2006 into 2007, there were a lot of new versions coming for the analytics front. Google released a new version with renaming the file as ga.js. But still, I mean, during those days, it was 2007, and the kind of capability in terms of tracking was pretty much limited to page views. Page views, as in like which pages are being visited and all. Eventually, yeah, Google started adding features. In 2009, they added event tracking. A lot of new features were getting added every year. And somewhere in 2012, there were two major updates to the entire tracking mechanism. One, Google released Google Tag Manager, which was kind of a web UI for implementing tags and triggers on your website. And second, Google also released Universal Analytics. So Universal Analytics was Google's attempt to make the tracking consistent across different touch points or across different systems, which is website or mobile applications or any internet connected devices for that matter, like purchase kiosk and all. So all the different internet connected devices were following the same consistent measurement protocols to communicate the information to Google Analytics servers, and it was Google's first attempt to universalize or make things consistent. Well, time flowed by. GTM was also being used for tracking purpose, and at the same time, you can also use analytics.js, which was Universal Analytics. In 2017, Google again created or released a newer version, which was Global Site Tag. In 2018, all of us are aware Google released Google Marketing Platform, and what Google has been doing is making all their products, which were in silos earlier, which was Google Ads, which earlier used to be known as AdWords or DV360 or DCM and BigQuery, and all these products are now under one platform, which is Google Marketing Platform. They release GTag as well, which is a global site tag, which is kind of the same set of rules for all the different products, which is AdWords or DV360 or Analytics. And back in 2019, they released App plus WebGA property, which is kind of service for website as one way of looking at it. And in 2020, they have released a new version of Google Analytics with the name Google Analytics 4.
Okay.
So there are a lot of differences. I mean, like 10 years journey. If you look into initially what started with understanding the simple questions like how many visitors or how many people have actually visited my website, and now we are at a stage where we are like trying to predict what would be the next page that visitor is going to see. If the visitor who has just landed on your website, what is the propensity or what is the probability that he will make a purchase or no, if he would submit a lead or no. So yeah, I mean, like it's a long journey, a lot of new features, a lot of new things, but there are certain fundamental shifts that are happening to the overall analytics industry. Google started with the concepts of page views and sessions and users. So session is basically a visit to your
Yeah.
website. Uh, and Google has been, I mean, like predominantly using sessions for a lot of metric calculations for a long time. But in the recent like 4 to 5 years, if you see, there are a lot of new companies that are coming into market, majorly around app analytics, and the new companies or new age analytic systems are some driven, or the architecture is more in terms of event driven tracking.
Okay.
So let's say I download a PDF from the website, so I just track the event as PDF is downloaded, and I track the user properties on top of it. So the way of looking at the data is changing, and this shift was happening like since like last like 4 to 5 years or maybe like more than that. But so taking this include, I mean, Firebase was also already on the same line, event and then event properties kind of an architecture. Now with Google Analytics 4, Google has also like accommodated the event-driven tracking in place instead of going for session-based calculations, which used to happen in the earlier scenarios. We still will have sessions and the metrics. I mean, a lot of metrics are still going to be there, but there is a fundamental shift happening in the analytics space. The way we used to track data, a lot of the privacy things and all like are coming into play. So yeah, in the coming future, I mean, we should expect a lot of new changes happening in terms of like omni-channel tracking or holistic or the 360-degree view of the user journey and all the similar analysis.
Right. So I think this evolution has been really ancient, and yeah, I mean, with the customer data tracking and like funnel positioning and more analysis and the approach, a holistic approach. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
it's very interesting,
Yep. Yep.
like evolution point of view. So let's talk about the kind of simplicity that sort of is brought with the new GA properties now, more with the artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms, and how can it really help brand marketers to sort of dive into understanding and predicting consumer behavior, like Pankaj just mentioned right now. If you could just answer to that.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with like answering this question with the consumer behavior.
Uh-huh.
So if we look conventionally, there were like websites getting launched. I mean, everybody was crazy about websites. Everybody was blogging on websites, and that was the time when Google Analytics had come into picture, keeping in mind that these are going to be web pages.
Okay.
So there was like session as a fundamental metric. There was this page view as a fundamental metric, which was telling us about what is happening on that web page. Now, if you look at the consumer behavior, it is more of like from desktops, from laptops, we are shifting to mobiles. So
Right.
a lot of app improvement has been done. A lot of mobile website pages, mobile friendly pages have been used as of now. And this has caused a shift in not only viewing the pages, but now I want to understand what the user is doing on my web page. Which is the interaction that he's clicking on? Is he clicking on download, or is he doing that particular interaction which I want him to? So by doing so, what has happened is this entire ecosystem now is more of event driven, and that is one advantage that we can see in GA4.
Okay.
Talking basically about the simplicity that GA4 has brought, so it has centered everything around a customer. So let's say I am your user who is serving your website on my desktop, and I am that same user who is serving your website on my mobile as well. So with various devices coming into picture, now I'll be able to stitch both of them. So like
Right.
yeah, Sujata, was on this device, and that is the cross learning thing, which has been available in GA4 as of now, of which everybody can take an advantage. Talking more about GA4, it's like it has also introduced a new class of data. It has made a new, like, it is using machine learning. Now, when we say machine learning, we feel like some rocket science has been happening, right? So I'll just give few examples in order to understand how this has been helping. So when we talk about new class of data, so like we have dimensions. Now we'll be having a dimension of predicted users. Now I can predict users if they're going to convert or if they're going to change, like churn. And basis these signals, we can then have a combination of marketing strategies in our campaign. Let's say I bid high on people who I know who are going to convert, and I negate people who are going to churn. So these signals will be easier to identify, to make a list of, and target in our ad campaigns basically. And another thing that has more easily available is, previously we used to spend a lot of time in order to deep dive what has happened yesterday. Why am I seeing a spike in numbers, and doing the root cause analysis. So since GA4 now will be having a automated insight kind of a thing, which will be there available on your homepage. So what this page is going to do is, it is going to automatically tell you significant changes in the numbers that are spiked or let's say gone down, and which will now save a lot of time of ours in order to reduce the time that we take in RCA, and we can take an advantage of automated insights as well.
That's amazing. I think single customer view has sort of been, brought to the plate with a lot of granular tracking and integration of data across. I think it's really amazing. Would it really be an overstatement to say that marketers can now make better decisions with improved GA4? If you have some use cases to share with us, you're more than welcome.
Sure, sure. So yeah, I mean, like, so to state, of course, yes, marketers can definitely make better decisions with better data, better understanding of how customer is behaving. And I'll take one very specific example to quote here. Example, as in like in terms of a direct use case to, yeah, I mean, like to give out to people. So with GA4, one of the feature that we have is we can link the Google Analytics 4 properties to BigQuery. BigQuery is Google's data warehousing tool. So earlier, the linkage to BigQuery or access to raw hit level user interaction level data. So this feature used to be available only for GA360 users or GA360 clients or websites. But now with GA4, even the free version of GA4 allows us to export all the raw hit level user interaction data to BigQuery and start writing the queries. Now what it enables us to do is, because we know interaction level data along with the timestamps as well, we are in a position to understand how my customer journey is happening on the website. From the marketer standpoint, the direct use case that we have here is to identify those users who are highly likely to convert. So which is like writing our own prediction model using the behavior data of the customers, write the codes, identify those users. Maybe we allocate some probability scores to these users, and that audience we can import from BigQuery into Google Analytics 4, and eventually we can start utilizing it for further remarketing. Okay. So earlier, yeah, I mean, like the same thing was kind of available only for GA360 customers or GA Premium earlier, as it used to be known as. Now it is available for all the customers. GA4, we can link it to BigQuery. We can the BigQuery gives 10 GB of free 10 GB of free storage, and even after that, the cost that we might incur in BigQuery is pretty nominal compared to the benefits that we can take out of the linkages and doing the statistical analysis on top of that data. Yeah. So we do have, a lot of internal solutions that we are working on, kind of replicating what we used to do for GA360 customers to for the GA4 clients or GA4 new customers, so that marketing optimizations now can happen at much deeper level, and looking forward to better ROI I think that is something that we all of us are targeting to achieve.
Those are amazing takeaways, Pankaj. I think remarketing on audiences with buckets with higher purchase intent will definitely sounds like the way towards higher ROI. I think not only ROI, but I think a lot of customer analysis and behavior and prediction, like a lot of things are happening around this technological advancements really seems to be a little overwhelming, but I think it's onto the right path. Let us know in the comment section if you have any queries or if you want to get started with GA4 today. We'll be more than happy to perform a full Google Analytics audit for you guys. Thank you so much for watching.